Mia said he'd done the same to her when she was watering the garden, commenting on her pretty figure. Tara caught him peeking through the window when she was changing. I was shocked to hear all of that. To try stopping him, we started locking the doors. Unfortunately, Ronald had a key and let himself in whenever he wanted. A few weeks later, things got creepier. I was home alone, taking a shower, when I heard the front door creak. I wrapped a towel around myself and peeked out. Boom. There was Ronald, standing in the living room, holding a toolbox, but looking toward the bathroom door. "What the hell are you doing here, Ronald? You didn't even call."
Oh, just checking the smoke alarm, sweetheart. Don't worry, I'll be quick. You go finish whatever you're doing. You won't even know I'm here.
I wanted to believe him, but his smirk said it all. I locked the bathroom door and waited until he left. He intentionally stayed longer than it would take to check the smoke alarms, but I remained in the bathroom. When I told Mia and Tara, they were furious as I was. My name is Sarah, and I'm 24, living with my two best friends, Mia and Tara, in a small rental house in a quiet neighborhood. We loved our place because it was cozy, affordable, and close to our jobs. But there was one big problem: our landlord, Ronald. He was a creep, the kind of guy who made your skin crawl with every word and glance. At first, we thought he was just awkward, but it didn't take long to see he was a full-on pervert. This is the story of how we took him down, humiliated him, and made sure he'd never, ever bother us again. Ronald was in his late 50s. He was balding with greasy hair he combed over, and he always wore stained polo shirts that smelled like cheap cologne and beer. He owned our house and a few others on the street, so he was always around. His excuse was that he was checking on things. But his visits weren't about leaky pipes or broken windows. No, Ronald had a habit of showing up unannounced, leering at us, making gross comments, and finding flimsy excuses to get too close. He often proposed we visit him, or him coming over to drink we refused. It started small but got worse over time. Much worse than we ever expected. The first time I noticed something off was a month after we moved in. I was in the kitchen, washing dishes in my pajamas, when Ronald knocked on the door. I was surprised to open the door and see him standing there. When I asked what he wanted, he said he needed to inspect the plumbing. I let him in, thinking it was legit, but he stood too close to me and started staring at my legs instead of the sink.
Nice shorts, Sarah. You girls always look so comfortable and sexy.
His grin and his words made me feel so irritated. I mumbled something and left the room, but I could feel his eyes on me. When I told Mia and Tara, they weren't surprised. Mia said he'd done the same to her when she was watering the garden, commenting on her pretty figure. Tara caught him peeking through the window when she was changing. I was shocked to hear all of that. To try stopping him, we started locking the doors. Unfortunately, Ronald had a key and let himself in whenever he wanted. A few weeks later, things got creepier. I was home alone, taking a shower, when I heard the front door creak. I wrapped a towel around myself and peeked out. Boom. There was Ronald, standing in the living room, holding a toolbox, but looking toward the bathroom door. "What the hell are you doing here, Ronald? You didn't even call."
Oh, just checking the smoke alarm, sweetheart. Don't worry, I'll be quick. You go finish whatever you're doing. You won't even know I'm here.
I wanted to believe him, but his smirk said it all. I locked the bathroom door and waited until he left. He intentionally stayed longer than it would take to check the smoke alarms, but I remained in the bathroom. When I told Mia and Tara, they were furious as I was. We checked the lease and found out that nothing said he could enter our apartment without notice. We called him, demanding he stop.
"Ronald, you can't just walk in here. It's our house. You have to stop coming here unannounced because it's making us uncomfortable. Give us a day's notice next time, or we'll report you."
Oh, please, relax, ladies. I'm just doing my job. You don't want me to raise the rent, do you?
That was his game. He was threatening us with rent hikes to keep us quiet. We couldn't afford to move, not with our entry-level jobs. But Ronald's behavior kept escalating. One night, Mia found him outside, looking through our kitchen window while we were cooking.
"Oh my God! Get out of here, you creep! Stop spying on us!"
Just checking the yard, darling. No need to get hysterical.
He laughed it off, but we were done. We started documenting everything. We wrote down the dates, times, what he said, and what he did. Tara bought a cheap security camera and hid it in the living room. Sure enough, we caught Ronald letting himself in while we were at work, poking through our stuff. He even picked up Mia's sweater and sniffed it. We were disgusted, but we knew we needed more than a video to stop him. We needed a plan to expose him, humiliate him, and make sure he'd never come near us again. The idea came to me one night when we were brainstorming over pizza. We couldn't just go to the police because Ronald hadn't done anything illegal enough to get arrested, and he'd probably lie his way out. But we could set him up and make him show his true colors in front of everyone. Our neighborhood had a monthly block party. It was a big event where everyone came out to eat, chat, and mingle. Ronald always showed up, acting like the friendly landlord to impress the neighbors. That was our chance. Our plan was simple but risky at the same time. We'd lure Ronald into the house during the block party, get him to act like the creep he was, and record it all. Then we'd play the footage for everyone to see. Tara, who was good with tech, rigged more hidden cameras. There was one in the kitchen, one in the hallway, and one outside. Mia suggested we wear outfits that would bait Ronald. Nothing too obvious, just enough to make him think he could get away with his usual nonsense. I felt uneasy, but we were desperate.
We'll be in control, Sarah. He's the one who's going to look like a fool.
The block party was on a Saturday, with music, food stalls, and kids running around. Ronald arrived early, walking around in a too-tight shirt, shaking hands like he owned the whole street. We waited until the party was in full swing, then I called him, pretending we had a leaky faucet that needed urgent fixing. Ronald, can you come by? The kitchen sink's acting up again. We'd really appreciate your help.
Of course, sweetheart, I'll be right there. Anything for my favorite sexy tenants.
His tone made me gag, but I kept my voice sweet. When he showed up, we were ready. Mia wore a sundress, Tara had on a tank top, and I was in shorts. They were normal clothes, but enough to make Ronald's eyes light up. The cameras were rolling, hidden in plain sight. We led him to the kitchen, where Tara pretended to fuss over the sink.
It's been dripping all day, Ronald. Can you take a look?
Ronald leaned in, but his eyes weren't on the sink. He stared at Tara's chest, then glanced at Mia, who was standing nearby.
You girls make it hard to focus, you know that? Looking all pretty like this.
I clenched my fists but stayed calm. Mia played along, twirling her hair and acting clueless.
Oh, Ronald, you're so funny. But can you fix the sink? We're hopeless without it.
He laughed foolishly, loving the flattery. He barely touched the sink, instead moving closer to Mia, brushing her arm by accident.
You know, I could stick around, help with other things. You girls must get lonely in this big house. I'm good with my hands. I could give all three of you a good massage right now, you know?
I felt so irritated. Actually, Ronald, we're good. But since you're here, can you check the hallway light? It's flickering. He followed us. In the hallway, Tara accidentally dropped her phone, bending down to pick it up. Ronald practically pressed himself against her. I could tell that Tara was so annoyed because she quickly stood up and pushed him away.
Wow, Tara, you have such a soft butt. How's your body so flexible? You're giving me a heart attack with moves like that.
We had him. The cameras caught every word and action. After he was done fixing the light, we led him back outside, saying we'd call if we needed him again. He left, smirking, thinking he'd gotten away with it. But we weren't done. Tara edited the footage that night, splicing together the creepiest moments containing Ronald's comments, his stares, the sweater sniffing from before. We added captions to make it clear what he was doing. The video was 3 minutes of undeniable proof. At the next block party, we struck. The neighborhood had a projector for movie nights, and we asked to use it for a special announcement. The neighbors gathered curiously. Ronald was there, sipping a beer and chatting up another tenant. Everyone, we have something to show you. It's about our landlord, Ronald, and how he treats his tenants, especially us females. Ronald's face froze. The projector lit up, and the video started. The crowd gasped as they saw Ronald's leering, heard his gross comments, watched him sniff Mia's sweater. Neighbors whispered. Some shouted in disgust. Ronald tried to laugh it off.
Come on, it's a joke. That's edited. You know it.
But no one bought it. Mrs. Jane, an older neighbor, stood up and yelled.
You're a disgrace, Ronald. We trusted you.
People booed. Someone threw a cup at him. Ronald's face turned red and he stormed off, humiliated in front of everyone he'd tried to impress. We didn't stop there. The next day, we took the video to the police and filed for a restraining order. With the footage and our documented complaints, the judge granted it immediately. Ronald was banned from coming near our house or contacting us. We thought it was over. For a while it was. We got a new landlord from a property management company that didn't bother us. The neighborhood shunned Ronald. He stopped showing up at block parties. But I had a bad feeling that Ronald wasn't the type to let things go. Tara kept the cameras running, just in case. 3 months later, my gut was right. It was late, past midnight, when the camera's motion sensor pinged my phone. I checked the feed and saw Ronald outside, sneaking around our backyard with a crowbar. He was trying to break in, probably thinking he could scare us or worse. My heart raced, but we were prepared. After the restraining order, Mia had insisted on extra security, including an electrified fence around the back gate. It wasn't lethal, just enough to shock an intruder. We'd warned Ronald about it in the lease addendum he'd signed, but he clearly didn't care. I called the police while Tara and Mia watched the feed. Ronald climbed the fence, ignoring the warning signs. The moment he touched it, a loud zap echoed. He screamed, fell back, and hit the ground, twitching. We didn't go outside because, of course, we weren't stupid. The police arrived minutes later, finding Ronald groaning and barely conscious. An ambulance took him away. The next day, we learned that Ronald had suffered a stroke, triggered by the shock and his high blood pressure. He survived but was completely paralyzed on one side and unable to speak clearly. The police charged him with violating the restraining order and attempted burglary. His reputation was ruined, his properties were sold off, and he moved to a care facility out of state. We felt a mix of relief and pity, not for him, but for the mess he'd made of his life. We stayed in the house happier than ever. The new landlord was professional, and the neighborhood rallied around us, calling us heroes. We didn't feel like heroes, just 3 women who refused to let a creep win.
Here's to no more creeps, and to us sticking together.
Thanks for watching, guys.